It has begun. Hillary Clinton did her first testimony yesterday. Not only were the veracity of her claims questioned and are highly questionable, but the Republicans there were doing some weird things. Now she's coming out saying she demands a public deposition. That this wasn't enough. They wanted to keep me quiet and they wanted to ask about irrelevant things. I need a public deposition. Let's do a public trial at this point, which the Clintons have been asking for a while now. And now Bill Clinton is set to give his testimony today as we speak. I am here to give you updates on all of these things. It's just very funny watching the insane reality show that is the American government and the Epstein files, despite under the comedy it being a horror movie. Before we get into that, some housekeeping notes. Some new bombshells have dropped in regards to the Epstein files. Howard Lutnick, Trump's Secretary of Commerce, who has denied that he's had many social ties and deeper ties to Epstein, and he just went there once for a business thing. Yeah, no, that's been proven false yet again. Because if you don't remember, a house that he bought from Epstein was sold to him for $1. Okay? And now there's a picture that was deleted by the DOJ, of course, because they're deleting anything related to this administration, with Howard Lutnick there. And it's not AI, it's confirmed to be real, verified to be real. Liar, liar. Pants on fire. You idiot. Why would you deny something that is so out there? Because you probably relying on the DOJ to save your ass. But never underestimate the power of people searching these files and potentially hacking into them, alright? Another, I think this is a representative of the House or Congress, he said that Donald Trump's name is all over the files. I just checked today and I saw a reference of a 9-year-old girl. Not only that, but there was an FBI tip that was ignored and also deleted by the DOJ saying that Michael Capone shuttling buses filled with underage models to 1990s Mar-a-Lago, Trump's club on Palm Beach, for casting parties. Trump has all these videos of him judging girls in pageants and stuff like that, including models, but Epstein and Trump were partying there apparently. And one girl quit modeling after just one of these parties, so who knows what she went through. But again, anonymous tip, right? You can't really trust, it's just an allegation at the end of the day. Deleted. Like a bunch of other things that were on Trump. Lo and behold, the DOJ apparently, as soon as this stuff started getting leaked, by the way, they locked the public out of the Epstein library search function. Now it's come back on, but a lot of things have been deleted since, because they had to take control of the situation, of course. With all that being said, and there's so much other stuff to get to with the Epstein files. Bro, I saw an email of cloning being referenced, and potentially them referencing a clone of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even know what to say. Jim Carrey apparently is cloned or something. I'm seeing that on social media. What the hell has happened to the world? What's happened to the world, man? See, people accuse me of being a crazy conspiracy theorist. I don't believe a lot of the stuff I read without citing it, and without proofreading it, without cross-referencing it. But man, it's just... Anyways, Hillary Clinton's testimony. She says she answered every question in that testimony, and the Republicans asked about two things a lot. They didn't ask about, did you see Trump? Did you see Ghislaine much? Did you see Bubba? They didn't ask a lot of relevant questions regarding to specifics, especially within that administration, but they asked about UFOs and Pizzagate. This is Hillary's response. Quite unusual, because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet. Now let's be clear here, because I do think that there were a lot of things about Pizzagate, which was a QAnon-linked theory, that were false. Like, Trump is the Messiah, here to take down the Democrats' PDF file ring. Clearly that's false. Clearly. There's no proof directly linking Hillary Clinton to specific things, or John Podesta, besides one video of him with his voice that was there, which I really want to look into. I need to figure out who made that video. The Skippy video, if you know what I'm saying. But a big part of Pizzagate was the coded language. Pizza, hot dogs, all this stuff, cake being used to talk about children. And that is that's... I know people could see it as hearsay, but in the files, the way it's spoken about in the emails, it's so clear what they're talking about. It's so clear that it's coded language for kids. So that part of it is true. Hillary can deny that part of it all she wants. She also says, I had no idea about their criminal activities. Fine. I could give you the benefit of the doubt there, Hillary, but this other statement, I do not recall ever encountering Mr. Epstein. I never flew on his plane or visited the island, homes or offices. I have nothing to add to that. Now, I do think she met Ghislaine Maxwell. I do think that is confirmed. And if you've met Ghislaine and your husband has been partying with these people, and granted, maybe the husband doesn't want his wife to know what he's doing, right? So it is possible that she never went to the island with him. I don't think Bill would want her there. It would salt his game. You know what I'm saying? But to say that you never had any connections to Epstein, it's just, I don't know, man. It rings hollow to me. I know all of y'all knew. Y'all knew. But what can I say? no defamation. I can only go off of the evidence. Now, they had to pause the testimony because apparently a photo of what was happening within the actual testimony, which is supposed to be a closed doors thing because Republicans didn't want it public, it got leaked by a Republican there. And it was sent to a social media Republican influencer, I think, The Benny Show, some conservative pundit or whatever. Hillary's attorney said, I'm skeptical as well. I mean, I hated it yesterday. This Lauren Boebert leaks a picture from within this deposition. They had to stop the hearing. She sends it to a conservative podcast friend who immediately published it. They had to stop the hearing for hours. And it goes to what you're saying. It's photo ops. These people want to build their brands for content. Now, I do know that whenever there's a private thing, a private hearing, a private trial, private testimony, and something is leaked out to the public that does damage a lot of things, you can't have public perception invading what's happening inside. When I first heard that a picture of her got leaked, I thought like there was a picture of her in the files that was revealed, and they had to stop it there. But no, someone just took a picture of what was happening inside and sent it to some influencer. Stupid. So this is her comments after. We agreed to a closed door hearing at their demand, and one member violated that rule. I didn't know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island, his home, his offices. If you demand a closed door process, then leak from the inside, you're not conducting oversight. So what we can surmise from this is Republicans were not asking about any of the other sides involved. They were asking about the UFOs, probably as a result of taking advantage of Obama's comments about UFOs being real, and then asking Hillary, do you know anything about UFOs? None of that is remotely relevant to the trafficking allegations in the Epstein files and who was involved. They probably didn't ask about Trump or anyone in their administration. They kept it on Hillary, her husband, and UFOs and Pizzagate. One big issue that I can agree with Hillary on is clearly no one who's doing these hearings wants to address the question of Donald J. Trump. Neither Donald J. Trump or anyone from his administration are being questioned in a hearing anytime soon. There are calls for their testimony because there need to be, since they're cited so repeatedly and they have clear knowledge of what's happened in the files. They can deny it all they want. Hillary and Bill have denied it too, and they're still doing testimony. So there needs to be testimony from everyone equally. This is clearly being used as a political tool to attack parties, and I hate it. I hate it that this is what it's being used for. Do you not see that the two-party system is a stupid political chess game, bro? A transcript of today's hearing and a video of her testifying are expected to be released by the committee in the coming days. Okay, so they're gonna grill Bill. He did have his opening statement. As someone who grew up in a home with domestic abuse, not only would I not have flown on his plane if I had any inkling of what he was doing, I would have turned him in myself. That's what they all say. That's what Kash Patel said too. And led the call for justice for his crimes, not sweetheart deals. Bill. Listen, Bill, you know I appreciate you and Hillary doing this hearing. Because you have to. But to say that you would have turned him in yourself and you had no knowledge. Bill. I think history has taught us enough that this is most probably a lie. You were doing your fair share. And I'm not saying you did anything. No defamation. I'm not saying you actually R-worded or did anything like that. There are no allegations of that. We're going to get to the allegations alleged against you. But you were called Bubba in the files for a reason. You were referenced in a very suggestive way. In fact, one of the crazier stories to come out of the Epstein files, if you're not aware, is apparently Donald J. Trump performed an act on Bubba. Now, I'm not saying this is real. Many people didn't believe this when they saw this. Can you even be surprised about the degeneracy of these elites anymore? But still, this was something that was also alleged. So, for you to tell me, Bill, that you had no knowledge and you would have sought for justice yourself, I just find that a bit hard to believe. Now, let's get to the actual allegations, all right? So, a victim of Epstein testified that Epstein once told her Clinton likes them young. But she never met Clinton to verify this. An FBI investigative file mentioned an allegation from a redacted individual who claimed she was invited to an, I can't say the word because YouTube will demonetize me, but it rhymes with chlorgy, with Clinton but did not attend. And then accuser Virginia Giuffre initially claimed she saw Clinton, however she backtracked. Now she's backtracked on a lot of claims, which is kind of, it has ruined the credibility of her accusations a bit, but where there's smoke, there's fire. If enough people are saying you were there and we have enough pictures, we clearly know you were doing stuff that maybe you shouldn't have, all right? Now, Clinton has responded to this though, too. No matter how many photos you show of me, I have two things that at the end of the day matter more than your interpretation of those 20-year-old photos. I know what I saw, and more importantly, what I didn't see. I know what I did. Of course you do. You definitely know what you did. More importantly, what I didn't do. I saw nothing and did nothing wrong. You know, there was this really funny clip that went viral of this interviewer on the street, this media paparazzi person. And Bill Clinton's there, and he asked Bill, hey man, can you tell us more about your time with Epstein? And Bill's like this. Bill's like... It's a viral clip. The good old times. It's funny to see how quick these people change their tunes on a dime. They all enjoyed their time with Epstein. Before we start, I have to get personal. Alright, Bill's getting personal here, yo, alright? You made Hillary come in. She had nothing to do with Epstein. You know what? I will say when it comes to this stuff on the islands, I don't buy for a fact that Bill would want Hillary there. So I can believe she wasn't a part of that stuff. Now, when it comes to the other stuff, the other conspiracy theories about her, who knows? She has no memory of even meeting him. She neither traveled with him nor visited any of his properties. Whether you subpoena 10 people or 10,000, including her, was simply not right. Bill, what you have done to your family's name, I don't know. You cannot be on a high horse here. There's only so many things you can take a stand against now. There's so many things you can get personal about. You cannot be defending your wife after cheating on her 7 million times, all right? And who knows what... Listen, there are theories about Hillary being a reptile person who cannibalizes kids, you know what I'm saying? If that's true, then I don't blame you, Bill, for necessarily wanting to cheat. But Bill, man, you were on islands where there were the presence of underage trafficked girls. Oh, we gotta keep it a stack over here. And there's tons of Democrats as well that you knew that were on the island. All right? Oh, but breaking news now. According to Mr. Comer, as a result of Bill Clinton's testimony, Bill stated that, to his knowledge, Trump was not involved with Epstein. That is what Mr. Comer said. Now, when I saw this headline, a lot of people on the Trump side are going crazy, like, oh, Trump has been exonerated and all this stuff, as if there hasn't been evidence and files deleted on him. But okay, fine. Even I was like, God damn it, man. Did they get to Bill? Is Bill lying? Maybe I've been wrong the entire time. But then I started seeing something very interesting. A lot of House representatives and members of Congress started coming out saying, you know, you've violently bent Bill Clinton's words out of context. Because apparently, that is not really what Bill said. What Bill said was, Trump didn't speak to him directly about being involved with Jeffrey in anything criminal related. He didn't talk to Bill about Epstein. But Bill Clinton alluded to the idea that Trump and Epstein did have a close relationship, and that they had a falling out as a result of a land dispute, which, by the way, counters Trump's original claims that the reason he had a falling out with Epstein is because Epstein was a bad guy, and he knew about the weird stuff Epstein was doing at Mar-a-Lago, so he kicked him out and all that stuff, which was proven false, by the way. That whole whistleblower FBI call that he said, no, that was proven false. He invited Epstein back to Mar-a-Lago many times. So apparently that was the full context, and congressmen are saying, release the full transcript and video if you don't believe us. I want to be very clear here, for those who bought these lies. The same people who are cheering about this are the same people who said, we can't believe a thing Clinton would say, he's going to lie under oath, and people are already saying he did lie under oath in his opening statement anyways. Do you guys realize this is the exact reason why they wanted this testimony, this hearing, to be private and not public like Bill and Hillary wanted? Bill and Hillary wanted this to be televised in front of the entire world. The reason they made this private is so they could suppress the truth of what really happened in that testimony of those two, or they could bend the words of Hillary and Bill out of context so that all their pundits, all their paid influencers and people on social media could spread this false news as a headline that means anything. And all the bots would be swarming, parroting the same thing. Do you guys understand the circus that we're in right now? This is the age where truth is no longer a thing. That's why they wanted it to be private, so that they can manipulate what goes in and out. And by the way, the guy Comer who said this, who stated that Bill Clinton said this, by the way, this is the same guy who was asked, are you going to put Trump on the stand and have him testify? And he said, no, Trump doesn't need to be there. He's already been asked about this so many times by the media, hundreds and thousands of times. That's what he said. We trust this dude, right? Oh, he's already been asked about it too much. We don't need to put Trump through that. As if being asked questions about the Epstein files by the media is the same thing as a full-on legal hearing and testimony. That's the world we live in. Trump and Lutnick need to testify as well, because they are clearly implicated in this. And whatever you say about Bill, because he's clearly implicated in it, he was one of the first politicians to be implicated in the Epstein stuff. There's like 50 million accusations against Trump. Not only on the Epstein files, but even after, like in life, just in general, he's had this many. He lost a civil case, okay? And in the civil case, he's talking about R-wording a woman and how she liked it and all this stuff, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I always say innocent until proven guilty, right? But also, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's so much smoke here in regards to the Epstein files. It would be very hard to miss, even if you were looking at it from the moon. That's how much smoke there is on this planet when it comes to them. They need to testify. And the fact that we're using this Epstein files as a political weapon against the convenient enemies, the Democrats, it's just very funny to me. And look, the Democrats would have done the same thing. We know this. None of these, there's no accountability on any of these people's part. None. They don't believe in anything. They're not good people. And Congressman Ro Khanna said, there is a new precedent set by law, which means Donald Trump has to testify before Congress about the Epstein files. We have the Trump rule. Trump defied, as all of you know, a congressional subpoena with the January 6th committee. He said presidents don't have to testify. Now we have the Clinton rule, which is that presidents and their family have to testify when Congress issues a subpoena. And that means that Donald Trump needs to come before our committee and explain what he knew about Epstein and why we have not had the full release of the documents. Good. I don't know if that's gonna work or even happen. I think this government is perfectly willing to overstep any kind of bounds, legal or precedent or whatever, to get their way. Also, just another bit of housekeeping. The Bohemian Grove. Members of the Bohemian Grove, you know, that like big organization cult of elites that meets up in the woods and worships an owl god statue and burns effigies in his name. Yeah, an extensive list of over 2,000 alleged Bohemian Grove members leaked per NYP. There are some interesting names here. Conan O'Brien, Michael Bloomberg, Eric Schmidt, Paul Pelosi, Jimmy Buffett, Charlie Koch, Henry Kissinger, Clint Eastwood, Justice Clarence Thomas, who has been on the Epstein files and implicated with Trump as well. So it just gets more and more interesting as we go down the line, guys. Let's see how it goes. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.